Let's get more on Saturday's elections in Afghanistan. I am joined now by Markus Potzel, the German government's special envoy to Afghanistan and Pakistan and a former German ambassador to Afghanistan. Ambassador, welcome this morning.
Thank you.
Looking at the security situation, is it possible to conduct a poll in this climate of violence?
I think so, yeah. Well, there are 1/3 of the polling stations cannot open, but to put it in a positive way, 2/3 can open. And I think that elections can be held in a legitimate way.
I feel a sense of hope on your side, perhaps. I mean, I have heard that there has been hope because there's this new generation of younger politicians, really out with this push to fight corruption, to encourage democratization. Do you think that a stable Afghanistan can be achieved in the future? I mean, 17 years of war now in this country.
It's true, yeah, but if I didn't have hope, I couldn't do the job. I mean, you have to be optimistic, and there are optimistic signs as well. As you said, young women and men actually want to be members of parliament, and they want to go to politics, and they want to change the country, and that gives me hope.
Given your insider knowledge of the country, how eager, I mean, is there a difference now than there was before? How eager are people for change at this particular moment?
I mean, it's also a generational change. People are tired of war. I mean, they're tired of warlords, of power brokers, of attacks. They want to live in peace and prosperity, and that's what actually they want to achieve, and we help them.
Let's talk about the peace process now. There's been some controversy in recent weeks. We know that the United States is now engaging in direct talks with the Taliban without the Afghan government. The New York Times reports the following about this initiative. They say that President Ashraf Ghani, that he found out about the talks through reports and that he was furious about what has been categorized as a breach of trust between allies. Is this the correct approach?
I can comment on that, but I know that
you can.
Talks. Well, I can, of course. But these are no peace talks. These are pre-talks, and also the Americans. We are holding talks with the Taliban as well. So a lot of people are talking to the Taliban, which is important, I think. But these are pre-talks. These are not peace talks. And also the Americans are of the opinion that peace talks should be held between Afghans, between the Taliban and the Afghan government, because it's conflict. It's first place. It's an internal Afghan conflict fueled from outside, of course, but Afghans have to talk to Afghans.
But the precursor for the Taliban is that the Afghan government not be included in these talks. Are you okay with that precursor?
I mean, the Afghan government knows that. I mean, the Americans talking to them, and then they're involved in that.
So it's okay for you that the Afghan government not be involved?
As I said, these are pre-talks. These are no peace talks. Peace talks should be held between the government and Taliban.
Okay. The conflict, as we mentioned, going on for 17 years now. What is the international community's biggest mistake?
Can we talk about achievements as well? I mean, a lot of achievements there.
First, let's start with the mistakes, then we'll go to the achievements.
I think that we have probably poured too much money into this country without control. And that has fueled corruption. That's probably our biggest mistake.
And the achievements?
Afghanistan is not a breeding ground for terrorists anymore. Although there are attacks and security is far from being perfect, but there have been a lot of achievements in terms of health, education, life expectancy has risen, for instance, from about 45 years to 60 years now. So girls, boys are going to school. Under the Taliban regime, only 1 million boys went to school. Now it's about 10 million boys and girls. So that and education is key to development of any country.
You hear that so often. Education is really key. And I'm wondering what you see, especially as a German diplomat, somebody who has extensive knowledge of the country. How do you see Germany's role in particular contributing to a safer, more stable, more secure Afghanistan?
Oh, we have an important role to play. We are the second biggest troop contributor. We are the second biggest bilateral donor. We have made a lot of diplomatic efforts. We had Petersburg I conference, Petersburg II conference. And we enjoy a lot of trust from the Afghan people, especially from the Afghan government. And also, to a certain extent, Taliban want us as a facilitator.
Thank you so much. That hopeful assessment this morning, sharing with us former ambassador to Afghanistan, Markus Potzel, ahead of those polls on Saturday. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.